Ladies and gentlemen, foes and fans, friends and fudders, welcome once again to Meme Mania and the 36 Chambers of Tech. I'm your host, Shytoshi Kusama. Today I want to talk about the future. I don't like to talk about the future too much, but I think it's important that we at least have this discussion as it pertains to crypto and the world, how I see all of this playing out, especially so that you can have some insights that I have that may help you understand what the future may hold. First, this is not financial advice, DYOR, which stands for do your own research in case you've not from this space. That means to understand what is actually out there. Don't believe anyone, not myself. Anyway, that being said, I believe that the future is bright. Now, I know right now the media and the world powers seem to be pushing towards World War III. We've seen some missiles sent back and forth. We've seen horrible massacres across the world. Some would even say genocide. We've seen these things happen over multiple decades recently, and of course for multiple centuries, depending on where you are in the world. And I believe that the shift that we saw most recently, or the multiple shifts and kind of eerie things like the eclipse over the United States, the double eclipse, which coincided on my calendar with some interesting things. And also the upcoming one that you'll see go over Egypt, another cross that goes over Egypt and the Middle East. These things make me believe that we are moving into a new age. Obviously, there's Pluto into Aquarius, and how this could affect the world with new innovative things, including a decentralized world and ultra high level tech in a way we haven't even imagined. And the crazy thing about all of this, at least for me, is that I believe that Shib will be at the forefront. Why? Because we are thinking in a different direction than most other memes. We are looking and building towards a decentralized future with you all. We've built this project without a huge budget. We've done it organically. We have done our best to find enterprising and new technologies like FHE and MAS, our new partners that give us fully homomorphic encryption and the ability to create something out of thin air. We're also finding new interesting technologies that pertain to Treat, and I'll talk about that in tomorrow's podcast on Treat Day. But the future being bright really depends on a few factors. One is if the masses are able to understand how they've been lied to and how they've been subjected to negative, let's say, certain compounds that have affected them mentally and physically. If the world can understand this, and there's a shift and a rebirth, and I believe this is written in the Tanakh, that there will be a cleansing. That's not the exact word that's used. This is late in the Tanakh. I think it's in Daniel, actually, where in this future, there has to be those who are wise who will cleanse their body or cleanse their mind. This is after or before the abomination of desolation, which I believe has already taken place, but that's just my opinion. If humanity can figure this out, if humanity can move towards longevity, truly move towards health versus a system that rewards sickness and rewards it for those who own the things that quote unquote make you better, but only long enough for you to come back and get more treatment, versus a world where health is valued and giving or utilizing compounds that actually oxidize the blood and change the DNA back to its original state come to the forefront then maybe we will see Utopia without having to go through a negative situation first. If that doesn't happen, then we have a whole different problem ahead of us before we get to this new Utopia. As it pertains to crypto, I personally believe that we are seeing a larger play take place here. I believe that AI will play a very big role in the future, and robotics, because of the possibility, as I've just mentioned a moment ago, of depopulation at a massive scale, and or the resulting loss of a variety of jobs because of AI. If we see a huge wipeout of jobs in AI, then we must have some sort of system that rewards people for just being themselves and being human. Very different than the current world where you have to go to a school for multiple years just to get a degree and then maybe get a job. And then if you don't have any money, then it gets really complicated. You might have to take a crappier job, or then, might have to go through unemployment. It's kind of funny too when you think about unemployment, right? For unemployment, and yes, who hasn't? Well, I guess many of you might not have been, but I have been unemployed in my life. And it's kind of funny that you have to, at least in the United States and in other places as well, apply to the government to get some sort of assistance. In a case where a large majority of the world is fully unemployed and unemployable because of AI, what do? And the idea of the unemployment system would work again, where it's, instead of saying, did you search for a job this week? It's, what did you produce this week? How did you give back to society this week? Did you plant something? Did you paint something? Did you walk somewhere? Did you jog? What did you do that gave value to humanity? And because you did something, you get a reward. Again, this sounds a lot like treat, doesn't it? A transactional reward for engagement or an access token. So, long term, I believe this type of universal basic income can be achieved very easily and succinctly, and in a very interesting way, through crypto and ideally through Shib. This has been a goal that I've had for a long time, and we've had this discussion with Kyle about exactly how this can work. And a shout out to Kyle for being my brother and being the tech visionary behind a lot of what you will hear about during this podcast as it pertains to technology and helping to build a tech stack unrivaled, period. As adoption takes place and more people utilize this, some sort of treat, universal basic income, and getting treats or paid to do certain things, we achieve a level of peace because the basic necessities of taking care of for everyone, AI and robotics kind of takes care of all the jobs and things that nobody really wanted to do anyway. And ideally, people have a basic good life. The problem then is not really crypto. It's not really AI or robotics. The problem is greed. It's greed. Those at the very top have so much greed. And if they retain this level of greed and don't allow some sort of universal basic income, the outcome that they would prefer would be some sort of depopulation program. We've heard this, so I'm not making this up. You can Google who has said it. I'm not going to say their name because it's not worthy of being said on such a podcast. But a system where people are rewarded and there's a shift away from sickness to health alongside AI and robotics can, in a very unusual and yet fast way, reduce, in my opinion, all of the world's problems, ideally over the next 25 to 30 years. In which case, Bitcoin and all the other coins do more than we could have imagined. And I'm happy that you're a part of it. I'm excited that you're a part of it. If you're not a part of it and it's the first time you're hearing such a magnificently unusual take on what the future looks like, buckle in, my friend, because I'm not making this up. I think that's enough for this Monday. I love you. Take care.